Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi. You're listening to Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Jennifer Spor. Jennifer is a conscious leadership coach, spiritual mentor, transformation strategist, and host of the Awake and On Purpose podcast. Welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Oh, thanks for the warm welcome, Gigi. I'm super excited to be here.
Likewise, it's an honor to have you here today. Now, why don't you start off by telling us more about you and where you are from?
Wow. Let's see. That's a big question. Yeah, so I'll go with the high level, right? So as you said, I'm a conscious leadership coach, podcast host, spiritual mentor. But before I actually started my practice, I used to work in the retail industry for over 23 years. And really what happened is, like so many other established, people, I checked all the boxes off the list of what traditional society tells us that it means to achieve success, right? And I ran out of promotions and just kind of ran out of challenges and felt like I wasn't making a difference anymore. So it took a bit of time because, like so many people, I had that fear of making a change. But really, based off of being dissatisfied in my career and then my mother being diagnosed with a terminal illness, this was several years ago at this point, that was really the catalyst for me making a change. And it was really interesting and synchronistic how my journey unfolded at the time, because I didn't know right away that I wanted to start a business. When I stepped down from my director role at the time, it was my journey of spiritual awakening and the journey of actually transitioning out of my career that made me kind of come to the realization that I wanted to start a business supporting other people in living their purpose, in rediscovering themselves and aligning with the higher path that God has placed on their heart. So that's the high level about me. And at the time, I was actually living on the East Coast in New Jersey, and it was through that journey of transition that I ended up moving back out to Idaho, where I grew up, and that's where I am now.
Absolutely amazing. Now, tell us a little bit more about your experience now as a leadership coach and a spiritual mentor.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love the work that I do. It actually doesn't feel like work. There are, a lot of people out in the world, and especially within the last couple of years, who have come to the realization that, they may have checked all of those boxes off the list too, but that they're not feeling fulfilled in their life, essentially. And so what I do in terms of supporting my clients is I really help them to gain clarity around the vision that they have for their purpose, for their path. And then I actually support them on the how, in terms of bringing that together from a strategic standpoint to bring that to life and to actually have the courage to make the change. Because there are so many people out there that have that desire on their heart, right? But they start to feel overwhelmed when they start to think about the how, and they end up not moving forward. So that's really what I do.
Fantastic. Now, tell us a little bit more about some of the challenges you're seeing people in our society experience as far as spiritual journeys go, and overcoming some challenges that they face in their lives and actually building a relationship with God.
Wow, yes. I mean, let's talk about the pandemic. That's a great example, because and I want to preface this discussion with really that, not to minimize certainly any of the pain and suffering and loss that anyone has experienced as a result of what's been happening the last couple of years. But what has happened the last couple of years has also shown us how much of a need there was to just reconnect with each other, and how disconnected we have been as a culture, not just within each other, but within our faith too.
That's right. That's right. Very powerful. Now, What is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Yes. I have lots of advice there. It really is, beyond walking with purpose. Um, and this is also the best way that you can actually, you being the listeners, right, can make an impact in the world too, is just by focusing on showing up as you in the world, right? And so what that looks like is aligning with your values, aligning with your deepest beliefs and your spirituality, and incorporating that into every area of your life, and including your career. Because when you align with the values, the beliefs, the desires that God has put on your heart to live purposely, then success and what that means for you is inevitable. There is no failure.
I love it. Very powerful. Now, where can the audience find you, Jennifer?
Yeah, the audience can find me at my website, jenniferspor.com, and there's also more information about my podcast there as well.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Jennifer on all of her social media platforms and also on her website. That's jenniferspor.com, SPOR. And Jennifer, thank you again for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast. You have a great day.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thank you.